Hey, what's up? I'm Basil Barrington.
I'm DJ Keo. Thank you for joining us for another show.
Okay, dude. So we got into Loki episode number 3. It's called
Mm,
Lamentis. And
yes.
we were talking about last week how, after seeing episode 2, how we wanted
Mm,
to see what went down with episode 3. And now we watched it in Lamentis. What do you think,
mhm.
man?
It was okay. It
Mhm.
was hit or miss for me. There's a couple things that I had made. I made notes, so we're gonna talk about that later on in the show. But
Yeah.
I like the action.
Hmm.
I like they added more into the world, and it was more interesting because I wanted to hear more about Loki's take on stuff and the female Loki. I forgot her name already.
Sylvie.
Silva, yes,
Sylvie.
Sylvie.
That's such an
So
English name, Sylvie.
yeah. Sylvie the crumpet in the tea. So
Right.
yeah, I wanted more information about what her plans are, what she was kind of doing. Yeah, so I liked it, and then there's things that drove me crazy about this episode,
Mhm.
and it kind of brought me down because there's things I'm like that doesn't make any sense. But what did you think? What did you think about the show?
There was definitely some action. I saw Loki able to, fight. That was the first time I actually saw him like
Yeah, he
really
finally
fight and
did
like kick
stuff.
some butt. Um, and
Loki
use
can
his
fight.
magic.
He fought in
Yeah.
the MCU. He's not.
Mhm.
He's not a scrub.
Yeah, and just see him use his magic, when he's fighting. So that was pretty cool. Um,
Mm,
I mean, I like the sort of cinematography of like the different sort of like the places they were in when they were on Lamentis. That was
mm,
pretty cool. The whole train scene, trying to get to the Ark and everything. I like the
yeah,
storyline. I wish they basically said like the planet that was crashing into Lamentis. What was the name of that planet? Right?
I think it was a moon or something like that.
I thought Lamentis
Maybe.
was a moon.
Yeah. Well, yeah. She did say it was a moon, so I don't. I don't know.
Right. She was
I
like,
don't know.
we're on a moon about to be destroyed by this planet. So I wish I knew what the planet was. But that was a pretty big scene. That was kind of cool.
Mhm. Yeah,
The
the
just the
action at the end was
CGI.
crazy.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
CGI was kind of slick and everything. It was
Mhm.
there should have been some more popping off. I see what they're
Yeah.
trying to do. I mean, we only have 3 episodes left, so I'm not quite sure, you
Yeah. You
know,
gotta get going.
you keep saying, it all depends on how this, how they land this plane, but we will see.
Yeah.
But I did like it. I'm still into it. I still want to
Mm,
watch like the rest of the series, see what's going on. Um,
yeah.
but for the most part, I did like it. I watched it twice, and yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It wasn't
Mhm.
bad. I have some questions though, but we'll get to that in a
Question number
second.
1.
Okay, you want to do the questions? Or you want to do like the breakdown of what happened during the
Let's
show?
do a quick like overview of like the Lamentis, because again, this was very interesting. Remember from like the ending of episode 2,
Yeah, they jumped through the portal,
they
your
jumped
Doctor Who
right,
portal. They jumped
right.
through it, and then
Hmm.
so it starts off with they get to the TVA,
That's when they
and
came through the portal. Like at the
yeah,
last episode, the destination was the TVA.
yeah, that was her plan, was to go there because I think she
Right.
thought all of the time police, the time cops, if you will, would have left, or enough of them would have left, so they'd be kind of defenseless at the time.
Right.
So she gets there, Loki follows her,
Hmm.
and she quickly realizes that she has no powers while she's there.
Right.
And so she has to actually fight and use brute force to
She
kind
kicks
of
some
get
butt
further
though,
down.
doesn't she? She's
Yeah,
serious,
yeah.
man.
Absolutely.
She's like kicking
So
some butt.
they're doing the fight. She's throwing everybody all over the place, which
Hmm.
I have to add, Loki one should have done that too, but all right. We're not gonna go there. But
That's a
so
little
she
intrigue
finally,
right there, right?
yeah. He
Hmm.
he was tossed around the whole, like, he's, even if you don't have your powers, he's pretty strong. He's a god still. So,
Yeah,
but
he's pretty
yeah. So,
strong.
anyways, they get cornered, and they're about to get was eradicated,
Hmm.
erased from the timeline.
Yeah.
And Loki steals the device and opens up a portal, sends them to Lamentis.
Right.
And so they get stuck on the planet, and they fight back and forth, testing each other out. And
Hmm.
they finally realize they got to work together.
Right.
And so they make their way to a lady's house, and
Hmm.
she shoots both of them. And they realize, well, this is not going to work. So they end up
Right.
asking her, what's going on? Where's everybody else? They
Hmm.
head their way to the Ark, and then they go to the train sequence. And I liked how they got in the train,
Hmm.
but I have questions. We're gonna get after the train. So
Yeah.
they get tossed off the train because Loki's doing very un-Loki things.
Because he's
And
drunk. Loki
yeah,
is
but
drunk. He's having a good time. He had a few glasses of champagne. He's laughing. He's dancing. You know, his character is all about having fun, right?
yes, but
Hmm.
MCU Loki has a plan, and MCU Loki is kind of focused on the plan. I don't think he would be partying and having fun when he's trying to do something.
Hmm.
The way they presented him for all the movies and stuff, he seems very 18 steps ahead and well thought out.
Right.
So like he would, in the middle of this process, he
Hmm.
wouldn't let his guard down or whatever. He would still be focused on trying to accomplish this thing. Anyways, he gets tossed off the train, and they break the time device during the fall. They walk over to where the Ark is, and they get chased around, beat up some more police, and then they finally get to the Ark, and the Ark explodes, and now they're stuck on the planet that's about to be destroyed.
The arc
That's
is hit by
episode
a
3.
exactly the
The
arc is hit by a
meteorite.
meteorite. Exactly. You know, that's the other thing. Like on Lamentis, like meteorites are
Mhm.
like just dropping all over the place. So yeah. What are your questions?
Okay, first question.
Hmm.
Loki carries all kind of stuff in his magic place where he puts things on his
Hmm.
body, right?
Hmm.
He carries knives, he carries explosives, he carries all
Right.
kind of craziness. He's
Hmm.
got his helmet, he's got his suits on there, he's got crazy things in there.
Hmm.
How did he break the time device inside of that pocket?
Well, when he was tossed out the window on the train, he sort of landed on the device, right?
No, it was in his wherever his time space thing, wherever he puts his knives and his clothes and all the other stuff. That's where it was.
Because he
So
did say like it's in his
it
heart
wasn't in
at
his
one point,
pocket.
right?
Yeah, it wasn't in his pocket.
Hmm.
It was in something where he couldn't be pickpocketed, or she couldn't take it from him. He
Right.
has to actually take it out of this place and then hand
Mm.
it to you. How
Wow.
did it get destroyed?
Well, I mean, I just assumed that, because that's what they showed. And we don't know, right? Because he kept saying, like, it's in my heart, but we don't know that, though. It could have been, like, in his pocket, but they reached an
Well, like
agreement to work with each other.
I don't. It's he keeps knives and all kind of crazy. I keep going back to knives, but like
Hmm.
he keeps larger things than
Yeah.
that can fit on his person
Hmm.
in some kind of magic place.
Hmm.
So the magic place shouldn't be damaged if he fell. The magic place should be good to go, and he
Right.
can just pull it out like, here you go, like here's your
Exactly.
time device, like it's still good, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I was like, why would it break? It seems like it broke because of plot devices rather than that's something that he would have happen to him. Like again, I'm basing this on Loki that I've seen for the last 12 years or whatever
Right.
from all the movies.
But
That's
do we
weird for him.
but do we have to throw all of that out the window because, they're setting this new sort of way forward starting with Loki?
Yeah, but he still has all his powers and stuff from
Hmm.
the way he was acting from the movies and stuff like that.
Right, right, right.
Like
Uh-huh.
nothing's changed from that regard. He's still doing all the things he did in the movie. Like in the fight, he created his duplicate of himself when he's fighting Sylvie, and that's how he got the time device in the first place because he tricked her with his he had like a mirror duplicate of himself. He
Right,
can still do all these things that he's been doing all this time,
right,
but the device getting destroyed, it seems rather convenient. That seems more of a plot point.
right.
My
Now,
my second, okay, go ahead.
now I was gonna say like they were trying to get to the arc because the device needed to be charged, right? And that was
Yeah,
the largest sort of, power structure that would be able to charge this device. Not to
Yeah.
mention, the arc was to get everyone off the planet because the planet it's about to be destroyed. So everyone had to like get off, and this was the only way off with this arc. So that's
Yeah.
the other thing. So they're sort of stuck on this planet for the moment, right?
Yeah.
Because the arc is destroyed too. What is your second question?
Second question, right?
Uh oh.
I got the notes. Why did he take his uniform off, the police uniform, whatever, soldier uniform,
Mm-hmm.
to do the jig and dance around with everybody with this variant costume? Why would he take that off? I don't understand that at all. It doesn't make sense to me because he knew it was hard getting on the train. He knew they were looking for him. They knew they didn't have a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take the thing off and just say, "Hey, we're gonna start drinking, having fun in the middle of a mission"?
Well,
See, I
okay,
don't
he
want you to
was
defend it, but I'm
right,
just
but
saying,
I'm
like,
just
that
saying
doesn't.
he was drunk. He did say he had a sense of style, so he needed the khakis on, the shirt and the tie. The variant jacket was kind of cool, but it also meant
Yeah,
that everyone knew you were a variant. Um, and they didn't really show how and when he took the jacket off. They just went to one
yeah, because
scene, came back to the
yeah,
next, then he was
she
inside the
went to
bar
sleep.
dancing. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
So
but I'm like, why would you get rid of your disguise before you get to the place you have to go?
right.
That did that. I couldn't wrap my head around why he would do that.
Not to
It
mention
seems like,
Not to mention when he did take his jacket off, someone left the bar. She said people were watching,
yeah,
and then they came back and they started Swiss cheese and things up.
yeah. I'm just saying, like, Loki from the Marvel movies
Mhm.
is 18 steps ahead of people, and a little bit. He's a little bit too big for his britches because he thinks he's
Mhm.
smarter than everybody else. But from the movies and my interpretation of Loki is not careless.
Right.
He hasn't been careless in the movies at all.
I
He's been
still
beaten because people bested him, but
right.
he wasn't careless.
I'm still gonna go with the storyline or the theory that
Mm.
it's it is a plan. You know, it's all a
Okay.
plan.
I hope so too because this is uncharacteristic, and he even said it in the show.
Mhm.
He said that you're doing things that are uncharacteristic of a Loki,
Right.
and what he did was uncharacteristic of a Loki. So maybe he's intentionally trying to stall her there, and that would make more sense.
Do you
If
think that Sylvie is a Loki?
yes, but she said
She
that
won't
she
answer
doesn't
that
want to be
though.
called. Yeah, she said she's changed her name and she won't call that herself that.
Okay.
But that the timeline should be fairly similar. He just got the XY chromosome instead of the XX.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like they seem like they had similar lives. I'm sure she had a Thor or two and whatever. Like they said they both had their mothers or the similar, except her
Right.
mother died before his did. His
Right.
sister died when he was an adult.
She didn't go into a
So
lot of detail about like where she was from though. And the other thing
yeah,
is, even though she said I would rather not be called Loki, I'm Sylvie. Um, she still didn't say I am a Loki,
well, yes, that's true.
right?
Um, maybe we're assuming that she is Loki in some regard, and she's not, and that's the big spin here,
Yeah.
because that's a possibility that they're pulling our leg with the female Loki thing.
Right, because Loki doesn't necessarily think that he keeps asking, "Are you a Loki?" He doesn't really know for sure. And she didn't
Yeah, but,
really there wasn't a like definitive answer like, "Yes, I am a Loki, but I would rather be called Sylvie."
yeah, but like it's canon for Loki to be female. They've had a female Loki before.
Mhm.
That's not like something they just made up. So I don't know. I have no idea. It's kind of hard to tell, and I think don't want to get too carried away with our expectations about what we're hoping is going to happen. We just got to watch it and let it go.
Let it
Because
ride, dude.
yeah, because you're going to get disappointed if you're like, well, this doesn't make sense or this
Mhm.
doesn't end the way it should have ended. I still like
Yep.
overall. I think the show is still interesting.
Definitely I'm watching it. Do you have another question?
I was kind of it's not one of my main questions. I did my main questions. I
Mhm.
was kind of curious how she was planning this thing for so long, but didn't know that you can't use your powers in the TVA.
Exactly.
That seems kind of important intel to have before you get there, because
Well,
a lot of her stuff that she's capable of doing is because of the powers.
the
Like she can trick
enchantment.
people. Yeah,
The
she can trick
enchantment.
people.
But Loki didn't know that either. He didn't know he couldn't use his powers in the TVA either.
Yeah, but she knows about the TVA and she's been plotting to go do whatever she was going to do with them. So I think that's some kind of vital information to know that you don't have any powers in this realm or
That
whatever.
was her first time at the TVA, right?
Yeah, I think that was her first
Yeah,
time
she didn't
there.
know. Okay, yeah, that's really
But
interesting.
she's been kidnapping and getting intel from all these people. That's a bit of intel to know. That's a huge deal.
Well,
That when you
yes
get
and
in here, it's
no.
going to be depowered.
Yes and no. It's just like with you, if you're getting all this intel, would you ask someone, can you use your powers inside the TVA? I think that,
Yeah, I don't
right?
know if I would know to ask that.
Right.
Like you're right. You're 100% right. I
Mhm.
don't know for certain that I would know to ask that question. A lot if you're thinking, well, it works in every other planet and all the other realms that I use my powers in, it should work here too. But yeah, that's why I say I didn't add it to my main question because I don't have a good explanation for it, or I don't think it's a plot hole yet. I think it's more so, well, maybe she didn't know to ask.
Mhm.
Like he didn't know he couldn't do anything there either. So I mean, maybe he just didn't know. But she's been doing intel on that place in the first place. So
Right.
I think that that's a huge shocker to know you get there, you can't do anything. You're
Mhm.
just mortal.
Was there an extremely interesting part of episode 3, Lamentis, that really shocked you?
They were talking, and she mentioned the part where she's interrogating people,
Yeah.
and she mentioned that they are all people from they're all variants
They're
that
all
work at
variants.
TVA.
That's the same thing that was interesting to me.
Yeah, I think that was the whole point of this episode was get to that one sentence, and that was the bulk of the episode was to get to that one sentence, and they it changes what's going on over there because he was like the first thing he said after that is, well, they don't know that they believe that they're just there, they've been working there for a long time.
Right, because, he had assumed, well, he was told that everyone was created within the TVA, right?
Yeah,
So all these hunters and time cops, they're all variants. But they're all
yeah.
variants of what? Loki?
No, I think they're just variants of
Who just screwed up on the
somehow.
timeline.
Yeah, they messed up the thing. Like they picked up a rock they weren't supposed to pick up, or what I'm
Right.
saying, like you
Hmm.
fell down a flight of stairs and you kind of missed the explosion at the top of the stairs, or whatever.
Hmm.
You lived longer than you're supposed to live, or something
Right.
like that.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess they're taken from different points in time as
Yeah.
well. Because the female Minuteman, she was taken from, it has to be like 20th century because they were at the beginning of the episode they're at like a regular
Having
bar.
margaritas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
Like,
it has to be in the 20th century
right.
sometime.
Yeah.
Like 2020 or something, or actually 2018. Let's put it like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
2020
Yeah.
would be a bad year for that, but
Right.
yeah, they're in a bar somewhere or a pub because
And
everybody's English on this show.
right. That was the most interesting part or
Mhm.
thing to me in the whole movie was when they found out, or at least Loki found out, that everyone in the TVA, all the hunters and time cops and everyone else, are variants. That was
Now,
pretty, I mean, that's a nugget, and that right there makes me want to just dig in a bit more. Like, okay, I can't wait to episode
yeah.
4. I want to see what's going on. I want to see where this goes because I
Mhm.
mean, there are some just interesting sort of breadcrumbs that they dropped in this episode, right?
Do you think the judge is a variant too, or does she know?
So the everyone there that are variants, they do not know they are, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm saying, do you think that because she's at a higher level than everybody else there,
Right.
she basically runs the thing. So do you
Hmm.
think that she knows that she's not, or that everybody is,
Well,
or she's in on it. I guess someone's saying.
okay, so that is a very good question because I was going to ask, do you think that Mobius thinks he knows? Do you think he knows?
I think he's a variant. I don't think he knows anything because he didn't really know how long he's been there or anything like that.
Right.
I think that if you were taken out of your world and you just took this job, you kind of keep track of that.
Mhm.
It may get lost in the sauce, but you may not want to say. But I don't think he knew the way he delivered that line. I think that he didn't know.
Okay, well, that's an interesting question because if the judge, if she is also a
The
variant,
Renslayer.
mhm,
Sorry.
yeah, if she is also a variant and everyone
Mhm.
inside of the TVA are variants except the lizards, the timekeepers, right?
Mhm.
That's a much larger question and a sort of a bigger thing there. I mean, like, so now I'm thinking, okay, why do they want to get to or take over, the TVA? If that in fact is what they really want to do, at least Loki. I mean, we just don't know at this point. But
Yeah,
is the judge a variant? If she's saying, if like Sylvia is saying everyone, well, she said all the time cops and the hunters are
yeah,
variants, right? Not everyone, right?
yeah. I don't think she said. I have to watch it again, but I don't think she said everyone.
Yeah. I'm gonna say she may be. I'm gonna say yes. I think she may be a variant. The judge. This is
Okay.
wow. This is whew,
We're getting into meta think territory here.
this
Well, do you think
is
that the timekeepers
mhm.
are real or kind of a thing that they put up, like a story to tell people at a campfire? Like, do you think the actual timekeepers are a real thing, or it's just a facade that they keep up to keep people working in line?
The answer to your question is someone is controlling the TVA, be it like the timekeepers, or maybe
Mhm.
the timekeepers are being controlled by someone. Someone, something is controlling the time, the TVA. Someone, something. What do you think?
I think they're gonna hedge their bets, and the timekeepers are not gonna be real. I think they're not gonna be lizard people.
Okay, well, but who's controlling the TVA? Who set the
Now
TVA
that I
up?
don't know.
Yeah.
That I don't know. But I'm gonna go on record right now. I don't think the time lizard thing is real, and it's a more complicated thing about who's controlling the time thing.
Wow. Well, if that's the case, then that means that season two is going to be even more like ridiculous and crazy in a good way.
Well,
Um,
I don't know if they're gonna be a season two though,
really?
because yeah, a lot of these shows I think they're one time off to kind of build up the next phase of movies
Right. Okay.
to
Okay.
get you in for the movies. Because
Well,
like
they better, like you said, man, they better land this. It better be spot on. I'm telling you, because I'm going to be completely disappointed, and if this isn't landed properly.
yeah, I don't see. I don't know for certain if there isn't gonna be season two,
Mhm.
but I think that a lot of these shows they were designed to set up the next phase or get interest for the next phase of movies.
Mhm.
But the movies is the bulk of what Disney wants to do, not the TV shows.
Wow.
So, and the people that are in the TV shows are movie stars or they're busy.
Mhm.
So that's why the shows are so short and they try and throw the budget at it real quick and like, all right, we're making movies still. Go watch these movies. I think definitely for Disney, this is to steer people towards the movies.
What do you rate episode 3, Lamentis? Loki, episode 3, Lamentis. What do you rate it?
I give it a 7, but my
Mhm.
nitpicks are driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Every time I saw him, I'm like, dude, what are you? When he started dancing and drinking, I was like, what are you doing? You're not even there yet.
Yeah.
I was like, if you got there and you started doing like maybe, but you did it in the middle of the trip and then you had to walk the whole way. That was unnecessary. They could have
Right.
easily made it without doing that.
I gave it a. I'm still gonna give it a 7, only
Mm.
because I like just like the cinematography of like this episode,
You like
Lamentis. Like
visuals.
I like the visuals. I
Mm.
like the breadcrumbs, right? Because there
Mm.
are some really intriguing breadcrumbs that they, just left here and there.
Yeah.
Again, how are they going to get off the planet? So this planet is about to be destroyed. So how are they going to get off? And not
I think
unless, the TVA is going to come and rescue
I think
them
the
or
TVA
something.
is going to rescue them. I think that's
Okay.
how they're going to get off.
Yeah.
The next episode is going to open up with the TVA rescuing them.
Yeah, I gave it a 7. I gave them a 7. I think it's I'm into it. I want to see what's going on. I mean, I like the short I like a short season like this, just 6 episodes, and I don't know if there's going to be a second season, but we will see. Again, this was Loki episode 3, Lamentis. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I'm DJ Keo.
And until next time, peace.
All right.